Hello.
Hello, Fatima. Islam.
Oh.
Yes, Islam. This is King Abdul Mumin.
Okay. How you doing?
All right, all right.
Hold on.
You.
I said, what's going on?
Oh, I'm calling about Light Tajiri Bey.
Okay. What about it?
You do know who I am, right?
No, I don't.
I talked to you a long time ago and I told you about the treaty as a court order and all like that. We spoke about me trying to get Sharon out of prison or jail.
I was in a long time. Okay.
I know you've been through a lot. It's been a minute, but after I had talked to you about coming to help her out, you guys, I guess, I'm assuming that you hired an attorney for her.
No.
She got an attorney though, some kind of attorney.
No.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, what they did was they appointed her attorney, and she has been putting on the records that he is not her attorney from the full time.
Okay.
So that's why she's still in status for hearing.
Okay. Well, we have to get our people out of this issue, out of this mess here.
Yes, we do.
I have a serious case going on. When I was talking to you before, I do federal criminal investigations.
Okay.
But I'm a prosecutor. But I'm a prosecutor for the people of the Moors.
Okay.
And but I'm also a judge, not like what y'all call yourself a judge, but I know law because we are the law.
Right.
But what most Moors don't know though is the law. Because they can't see. They say they're Moors, but they don't act as one.
They don't follow Proverbs.
Yeah. Well, I'm not into the Bible too tough, but you have to act as one.
Ecclesiastical law, I mean.
And we can't act as one when we're using other law. No, see, we can't use no other law but our law.
Exactly.
But they have Sharon locked up on statutes and codes.
That's what they got locked up on.
Okay. Statutes and codes, I don't know how much you know about them.
You
know much about them?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you know?
Oh, goodness, I know so much. Okay. Well, statutes and codes is their type of law, which really has no sustainable anything.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, I was having a hangover because I did celebrate last night. That's really all I can do. I celebrated my solar return, so my mind ain't where it's supposed to be yet.
It's fine. It's a solar return.
Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So yes, the statues and all that stuff that they have going on, we know that that's not law.
Okay.
It's not law. Okay. So that's why our affidavits let's put it like this. That's why they're still at the jurisdiction area. They have not moved from jurisdiction because they can't.
Okay. See, here's our problem. Not just one problem, but all of our problems. Europeans as well as ours. See, the lawyers are the Illuminati, the judges. And they're sitting in our position.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and I got a TV channel I just started a couple of months ago. I just got this guy out of jail up here. He did 9 months and had $100,000 bail on him. And now he's working with me, and we're getting out 2 more. He's putting his notice of appearance in Florida right now to get people that he knew in jail that are Moors to get them out. So my job is to restore the Republican form of government and put our flag back up on top of the White House, which is the kingdom or the empire of Morocco, which is ruled by the women.
Yes.
And so most Moors don't know what I'm talking about, because what I'm talking about is not in any books. It's got nothing to do with any teachings of Taj or anybody because it's a lawsuit. So people get confused. They start trying to talk to me like this is a class, and I have to explain to them, no, this is a lawsuit. It's about you and the European not being able to earn a living.
Yeah. That's just like in the treaty that I just got finished reading with France and the United States of America. It told them, plain and simple, it told them that they have no standing here on Morocco.
Right.
Okay? They cannot set no laws. It said you cannot do no laws. You cannot do anything. You have to be here for commerce and commerce only.
Only.
And that's in that treaty.
That's what's up. Only.
Only. That's it.
Right. But what's stopping
that? Commerce is down right now. You really don't have no standing.
Yeah. And they're in our
You must go.
Exactly. They got to go. And so what I'm saying to you is that you're on top of it. But what's happening is that the Moors that's been rooted in this in the not concept but our fight to restore the republic, they can't see as one. So here's what I'm saying. The judges and lawyers, right? I told you they're the Illuminati.
Right.
They use, when we want to use our treaty, and they bypass our treaty and use statutes and codes, and then as soon as you get in the court, they start talking like, Your Honor, this, no, hold up, you can't even move, because they don't have a court.
Right, they don't have a court.
They don't have nothing. It's all an illusion.
No kind of court, not a ball court, not a basketball court, not a baseball court. They don't have a court.
Right.
They have administrative hearings, but they don't have no court.
They don't have. They
are administrators.
So, how familiar are you of the Iroquois
Confederation and the Constitution?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tahir. The Great Law of Peace. I'm familiar with it, but I have not really gotten into it like I should have.
Well, that document.
Yeah.
Is that the consort talking?
Yes, that's my consort talking. We do this all day.
Don't be shy. Get on the phone. Put them on speaker so I can blast his ears off. We got problems.
We hear you.
Yeah, we got problems, Noble. We have to get we have to go get our warriors, man.
Yeah.
Look, I'm tired. I'm so sick right now of our people seeing these Europeans take our spots and sit up on the bench when only nobles can rule here and live here. And and like you were saying, the Iroquois Constitution, you don't know much about it like you should. Well, that document in the treaty, in the Iroquois Articles of Confederation, that's the document. Those are the documents to the Promised Land.
Yeah.
And the document says that the women rule the world, and it's also that the women defeated the 13 colonies and won the Revolutionary War, and that's what that court order is of the treaty, where we defeated their butts, but they're claiming everything we did, they did.
No, they can't claim that.
But that's what they've been doing. Look at the dollar bill.
We haven't been standing up and doing what we're supposed to do as a nation.
You can't.
They call themselves American.
Yeah,
you can't.
They can't even call themselves American.
Yeah, but you can't stand up until you have a clue about what you have to understand that who's in our way is they got a book called the Court Rule Book. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that book mean to you?
The Court Rules Book?
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten into it, but we do have it somewhere around here.
Okay. What does it mean to you?
Or the Robert's Rules of Federal Procedure.
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to you?
Yeah.
What, you talking about the rules of the court?
Yeah. Okay, let me ask. See, the question is too broad. In other words, that book, anything after 1787 with the treaty, is garbage. It's all
treason. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
so when you're looking,
all these things need to be put together.
Article 6, Section 2 is just telling you that the treaty is the supreme law of the land.
Yeah, but the Constitution itself is bogus. It's no good. It was never ratified.
Like they said in this treaty that I have, or this court case that I have, because I went to the international court.
Oh, okay.
Pulled up a court case for French in United States of America on Morocco soil.
Right.
It said in 1950 that they can't get past. The courts cannot go past Article 20 and 21 of the treaty.
Right.
Because if they're Moors, you can't do nothing to them.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And it's their responsibility to prove that they're not Moors.
Okay.
So that's where we are right now with Sharon. They're trying to prove that she's not a Moor, but they can't.
Okay. It's time to hit them up. Who's put a notice of appearance in for her case?
Me.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. Now what you have to do is set forth the facts that only one law can prevail here. See, what they want to do is keep the confusion going, the attorneys and the judges, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay. But you're going to have to take the jurisdiction back and put it back into the hands of the clan, our clan.
Yeah.
That's what we have to build.
That's what we're doing right now. We're drafting up me and her. People don't think, because they don't see all this stuff that we put on the record for her.
Right.
They're purposely not putting the information on the record that we put on.
I could do
purposely. So we put so much knowledge up there that they're baffled as to where we getting it from.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, like I told yesterday, I said, we won the case. Now we just got to win the race.
Okay.
Because the case is done. The case is squashed.
Okay. We need to get her out.
Now we got to get the Sheriff and peace officers together so we can stand as many consuls, because if we don't stand as many consuls together, she's not going to get out.
No, she's going to get out. She's going to get out. I'm good. I'm going to get them all out. My case is a class action case.
All right
my case is about the United States government is human trafficking Moorish Americans and killing them for sport. But then I got into the case because, see, they framed me and sent me to prison for 10 years. And and my case had been dismissed, but they created their own personal criminal file to send me to prison when I was a free man.
Oh.
And, they thought I was a regular dude, but I'm a master in law. And so the lawyers, they hid me out. It's a long story. I don't want to go into it. I want to really talk about the people that's at hand that's locked up. Like you got Light now is locked up.
So he's locked up?
Yeah, you ain't know Light's locked up?
No, because okay.
That's why I'm calling.
I'm in the Northeast.
I'm right there by her, 20 minutes away from Light.
Okay, so when they start doing that stupid stuff, I just had to step away from it. With all that backbiting, you guys turned your backs on the whole consulate, except for two people turned their backs on Sharon this whole time.
Man.
It left me out there working my behind off, taking care of her and her children.
I know.
So it's just like, okay, y'all, what y'all want me to do now?
They can't help you.
No, they can't help me.
I can help you.
Okay, now.
I'm the only one that can help you.
All right, now.
Want me to tell you why?
Why?
Because I know law. I know what's what. I know what can't be is and what is can't be.
Exactly.
And so when people don't have no understanding of their square, they let those Europeans rule over them.
That's what it is.
And so our job is to put back the Republican form of government, which is, as you look at the Constitution, it says it's guaranteed. And as you spoke about Article 20 and 21 of the treaty, how, even like in Article 20, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe if we need some assistance, some more assistance, it's supposed to be granted immediately. Is that
immediately? Yep.
Okay. And
it's supposed to be granted immediately without recourse.
Okay. Now look.
We got all that stuff over here.
Okay. Now here's what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's wrong. Why we can't get it handled. See, now the way this system is worked and made, it's a monopoly. Okay. And you can't understand the monopoly unless you know law, their law, and our law.
Exactly.
And you have to know that their law is not supreme, but they need to have it in order to be in our places. So the documentation that I just wrote to get the brother out of jail in Florida is where I showed them that here it is, the United States of America belongs to the Moors. And they're trying to act like the brother is locked up. It's a Moor. The prosecutor says, when I talked to her, she says that the bar, the judge, and her, they don't recognize the treaty. I said, okay, because I'm investigating, but they don't know. I can listen to your conversation and go back and type it up without having a recorder or anything. But I'm precise on what I know, what I'm talking about, and my investigation skills. So anyway, so then she's gonna go throw out to me about I'm talking to her. I'm telling her, look, you can't use those statutes and codes to hold him. He had used the UCC form, trying to say he's not under the jurisdiction and stuff. So she says, well, in her reply, well, he used UCCs. So I didn't respond to it, but that's the stuff that they need to keep confusion, so they can hold us and enslave us right on our soil, right in our faces. This is what the Illuminati has done with this spells. And so what I was saying about the court rule book, the court rule book is the book of the devil. It's the book of Babylon. It's the book of Shaitan. You know what I mean? It's the book of the slave master. It's the book of all. Yeah, it has all these things that you compare it to the treaty. The treaty doesn't allow for it.
Exactly.
So the lawyers and judges who are involved in the monopoly, you can't get past them unless you know how to tell them you can't sit there, you can't live here, you can't do nothing here. Who are you? And then once you talk about Article 6, I see Moors. They get them. I'm not saying you or anything. I see Moors on these videos, right? And they get up there and they say, well, they wear their fez and all like that, and they talk to this European that's sitting up in there, and they don't know to bash the judge right off the bat because she can't live here or have a job here, and he's calling her Your Honor, citing case law and all this stuff. And the brother is sharp, but he talks about his treaty. So if you're talking about your treaty, why are you citing case law?
Exactly. You have to choose. You can't serve two masters.
Yeah, exactly.
At one time.
And that's our problem.
They have to identify this, so that's why they have to fill out that foreign agent registration statement and the anti-bribery statement.
Right.
And when you fill out the foreign agent registration statement, they have to tell what their nationality is.
Yeah.
So if nationality,
put it like this: we put that in.
Yeah.
We put those into her case and made them do it.
On our land.
So they have not filled those documentations out.
Right. But
that's okay.
The stuff I'm talking about, I'm sorry, he's talking. He's muffled sounding.
Yeah.
The stuff I'm talking about is beyond all the stuff you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff I'm talking about.
I'm just telling you some of the stuff that we did.
No, I know. But what I'm saying, that's why I'm saying I can help you rather than other people can help you. Because see, you over there burning yourself out and you're dealing with attorneys. And these attorneys are playing with you because they can't. You got to see what I have for them, how I got this brother out. And how when he saw how I got him out, now he wants to get other people out. See, we can't leave our warriors on the battlefield. I don't care. No, I don't care if we do have this thing with light. There's still, like, Virgo Triad put her. You know who that is, right?
Oh, I know who she is. Yes, I do.
Well, that's how I found out about Light. Light got locked up on the 8th. You know, okay. I subscribe to her because, you know, I get good and bad stuff out of both things, no matter what. So I don't care, you know, but she's on to, Virgo is on to cracking the Moorish Consulate. And in a sense, the Moorish Consulate is one of the worst things that ever happened to us. And it's a good thing at the same time. But moreover, like one of the guys that I was trying to get out in Texas, he was watching these consulate videos where he was talking about how he went to court. They start talking about these impropria persona and all like that. I said, "Oh, no, you're done. That's not law." See, and those are the things. Those are the things where people. He said, "Well," I said, "Well, man, where you learn this stuff from?" He says, "Well, I saw it online. I know what I'm doing." I said, "Oh God." I said, "What?" So look, that's one of the worst things. That's probably what you say, brother.
He said, "Ain't no wrong with saying appropriate persona or improper person."
That's not what I mean. That's not what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying.
Because they do it differently.
Here's what I'm saying. I know y'all guys know law. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying.
That's all.
Here's what I'm saying.
I can't listen.
Okay, good.
I know y'all know y'all stuff, right?
Tahir, he's the one that he goes in studying hard. He runs me crazy sometimes. Right.
Okay, we all go into the same direction, no matter what. We all fighting these demons that's on our land, and we have to come together. Here's what we have to do. Because this is what I'm doing. This is what my lawsuit's about. It's about restoring the republic form of government. The women rule the world. The Al-Moroccan women. And when I see my case that I have as a private U.S. Attorney General, I have to, for what they did to me to send me to prison for 10 years, and I have to do what you call a post-conviction relief thing. Mm-hmm. But in this case, when you do the post-conviction relief, you got to bring it back to the people that killed you or whatever. You're not going to win. So I know I'm a Moor, right? Right. I know I'm a noble, I'm a king. And then I know more law than they do. So here it is, they framed me. You can't take this back to the people. But when, as a private U.S. Attorney General, when I finish my federal criminal investigation, I'm supposed to bring it to Congress. But Congress is the one that's the problem. So you can't bring it to all the criminals because they all work in this one. So I have to bring it to the great law of peace people. That's The Hague. And so I can only move our court because our court order is self-executable. It ain't no way I have to go to these courts and get an order for this order. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what we have to do is, as a unit, is not think like the European, but go back to the Iroquois Articles of Confederation, Iroquois Constitution, the Iroquois Moorish American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Yeah. Then when you look at all these things as one, you'll see that the women are at the top of the chain. And we have to, I'm setting it up so whereas we all have to come together as clans. So if you're in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, you're the Pennsylvania clan. I'm in New Jersey. Huh? I'm in New Jersey. Okay, New Jersey clan. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. All right now. Yeah, I left there in '79. I came there when I was 9 years old in 1963. Okay. So I left there in '79 and came to Seattle. Been here ever since. And I did 10 years in prison here. So Jersey. So this is an organized gang here that's in this courthouse. Yes. And every courthouse is an organized criminal gang. And and so this case I have is to bring them down because our law is international law, as you know. Mm-hmm. And they're using their 50 state law, which is no law. Which is no law. And because they bypassed our. See, here's what's up. Our birthrights and the Europeans' birthrights can't be separated because the treaty is our birthrights. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
The lawyers and judges said, F that. We bypassing our birthrights. So before they became judges and lawyers, they had the same birthrights anybody else had from the treaty. But with the schools and the monopoly that they've pushed on everybody, nobody's able to see that this information we're talking about is hidden. So therefore, the lawyers and judges are able to say, well, this is the law, and you don't have nothing to compare it to. So everybody is stuck into, I need to go get a lawyer. I need to go get a lawyer. I need to go get a lawyer, rather than knowing that this stuff is treason. It's a war crime. So I'm charging them with war crimes. You see, it's a war crime for them to have Shannon and anybody else.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Now, okay, this brings me back to another thing that we put out there. We did a declaration of war.
Okay.
We did that, me and Sharon.
Okay. Well,
had it.
I'm not trying to cut
it out to everybody.
It's not going to work, right?
No response.
Here's what's happening. This is a lawsuit that I have to give notice to everybody in the world because you know about the Continental Congress, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what does that sound like to you? What does that mean to you?
The Continental Congress?
Yeah.
The Articles of Confederation.
Yeah.
All right.
The 8 presidents before George Washington.
To the last over the top.
The 43 articles.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what we have to bring back. The democratic government that's in our place, we just have to just go and take our stuff back. That's what my case is about. And so my case is about bringing the Moors together to try this case under Article 21 of the treaty. To remove this bogus democratic government that's human trafficking Moorish Americans and killing them for sport. And that law dictionary in the court rule book, those books are the books of the Illuminati, the Pope, the Queen, and all these masters of the sciences of technology or trickery. And so
you want to hold on? I'll let you talk to Yasher and hold on, okay?
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm happy about that. No problem. It's long.
Islam. Who am I speaking with?
You're talking to King Abdul Mumin, one of your favorite fans.
Oh, King. I know King. Islam.
I've been trying.
How are you doing?
I'm doing. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm doing better than you, being locked up and going through all that stuff. I'm glad to hear your voice, and I want to.
It is sad I am here, but it's okay. I mean,
no, it's not.
It strengthens you. You know, it makes you better. I've gained so much wisdom and so much knowledge in here that I would have gained outside. Don't get me wrong. It just would have took a little bit longer. That's just I just time on my hands to really study and prepare myself for when I do come out there and do what we do to lift up completely and erect what we need to be erecting, which is our individuality, our nation, our government, and our people.
Right.
But you called for a specific reason.
Yes, I did. A couple of reasons. The main reason is you. I'm always on your mind. You're always on my mind. I talked to Dr. Tracey about you, and she wants to get you out. Just about.
Talking about light.
Talked about you. We always talking about you. Everybody talks about
always talk about me.
All the Moors. All the Moors.
Why don't they write me? Why don't they write me or help Fatima financially to support all of the lawful documents that she needs to process? Not just for me, because every thing that we do on the Northeast, we don't do just for ourselves. We do it for all the Moors. We just don't promote it and put it out there until it's all done. There's no point in keep going back and forth. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. We're just doing what we need to do.
Right.
Even though we really don't have the support that we think we should have from the Moors. But I know it's primarily because more people know how to kind of be there for each other because we've been oppressed for such a long time.
Exactly.
So we're learning how to do that again. So I don't have any issues with you guys. I don't really, I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be right no matter what.
Well, I'm coming to get you. I've been trying to get you for a while. Believe that. And
I told Fatima to put the information out there, so if people want to write me, they have the mailing location. But obviously, Facebook might be taking it off. A lot of stuff is happening, so you got to be diligent in keeping in contact, as well as it's all on public record. So it's easy to kind of navigate that stuff to find out. But she can give you all the information you need as it relates to mailing me, correspondences, contacting me. I won't have a problem with calling anybody. I just don't have the funds to call everybody. I can only call my consuls and those individuals because, our biggest priority is getting me the hell out of here. So
coming to get you. And as you know, you talked about Light's locked up now.
When did she get locked up and for what?
On the 8th, Virgo Triad put this thing out on the 10th. It says Light Tajiri Bey is locked up. You know how she speaks, I guess. And I was like, oh, shit.
People need to shut her down, too. You need to let everybody know that she needs to be shut down. So everybody needs to be putting in grievances as well as liens to YouTube because they're slandering us. They're not reporting the realities and the truth of anybody's situation. So we need to shut her down. Period. Point blank.
Virgo down, right?
Mm-hmm. She's not telling any truth about anything, especially as it relates to Sharon Tracey Gale Bey and what I'm doing in this facility.
They have they hide behind the camera, don't show their faces.
I know they don't show their faces, but whoever registered for that account, that can be easily tracked and traced. If you want to do anything, put a slander case. Everybody needs to start a slander case for Video Triad with the federal government because she's slandering Moors and she's in the land of Moors and she shouldn't be able to do that.
I'm about to get them all.
So that's a way to just let Moors know. Stop watching the dumb garbage. 1, 2. Put in civil suits and grievances for the content of her broadcast, and she'll be shut right back there. Right down.
It's coming. I'm close to getting them all leave this.
So Video Triad said that she got arrested. Did they say why?
She was showing something about some failures to appear.
Yeah, it was a failure
to appear for property.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, that's what
they were talking about trespassing.
Okay, so we know why she's there. Of course she doesn't. She's not appearing. She doesn't have to appear in a tribunal of incompetent jurisdiction, meaning they're not competent and they're outside of their jurisdiction. Light knows that. She didn't have to show up to their tribunal, nor did I have to show up to any of their tribunals.
100%.
They know this.
100%.
100%. People need to do their broadcast. Mention VO Triad. Mention Media Courthouse. I mean, I'm sorry, Media Courthouse as it relates to me, but whatever courthouse. I think she's in King Cook County or something like that. And we need to just stop just watching. I mean, seriously, we need to be doing. Because even though me and, I'm going to call her Pauline, even though me and her don't see eye to eye because of the fact that they have not really been supporting the Moorish American consulate as it relates to Moors being incarcerated, as well as it relates to doing the things that they are supposed to be doing as a Supreme Judiciary. So me and her are not really on positive footing grounds, but that would never stop me from assisting her in the time of need, even though I'm also in the time of need as well.
I know. You know what that's like in there? They're like invisible. Go ahead.
What's her bail? Did they say her bail? Did anybody pull a docket sheet up to find out what her bail is?
Virgo Triad showed that she had a $500.
No, I don't want to. I don't care what. I don't want to know what Virgo Triad showed. I want to know what y'all looked up in the system under the docket sheets for that county. That's what y'all have to do. Screw what VO Triad is putting on the tube. She only told y'all that she was in the facility.
Yesterday, Empress. I will get that.
I know. You know, you got 30 minutes on this call. I got to be boom, 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 boom with it.
I'm there. If you push me, I'm going to go do what you told me to do. My job is to work for you. And I'm a federal officer, but I'm a minority. And so my job is to put our Republican form of government. I was just telling Faatima back, I got this guy right now trying to call me from jail. I got this guy out of jail, did 9 months, and had $100,000 bail on him. And I put my notice of appearance in and wrote to the prosecutor, supervisor.
We don't got to go into the details of it because all of our situation is one and the same. Exactly. They don't have jurisdiction. They can't put their state codes and stuff on us. And somebody needs to do a detailed dissertation of the Dred Scott case on social media. Somebody needs to do it right now, today. As it relates to that case alone, told you that we can't be a citizen of any state, and if we can't be a citizen of any state by the means of the Constitution for the United States, they can't hold us or claim any grievances against us because we are not within their jurisdiction. It's telling you in its face that people need to just talk about the Dred Scott case, talk about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and talk international, because we're getting violated in our own land. They know they can't violate us because we don't let them defame us by calling us Negro, colored, and black, or identifying us as such, to hypothecate and cheat our land. Period. Point blank. We need to get to the point and to the root of it, and stop sitting here watching bullshit as a video Triad. I can't wait to meet her. Because I'll be meeting her when she's getting on the shit to go back to freaking Europe where she belongs. If she's I'll be on.
Yeah. Let me say this here. My phone call is recorded, of course. I don't know if y'all know. I just want to say that. But if possible,
I'm sure everybody calls us to record it and put it on social media.
I just put this app on my phone. I've been talking to people and wishing I did have my app on. I had an app that you could put it on.
Well, I just want to say to the Moors, since you're going to put it on social media, I don't care if you put it on social media. I want you to put it on social media.
Okay.
I want all the Moors to know that they need to be going after this video Triad for defamation of character, violation of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, violation of the Dred Scott case, as well as the case Faatima can give you and send you to give you information as to all of the things that they already know that they're not supposed to do. They're doing this propaganda again because they want us to stay identified as black, Negro, and color so they can run all over our resources, our land with impunity. Period. Point blank.
I'm about to knock them all out.
Put it out.
I'm about to put our flag back
Light Tajiri Bey is supposed to be supported because she is the Supreme Judiciary. We have differing views of opinion. I don't have opinions. I go based on just the law. I ain't got no time, no room for opinions. I go with the law. The law says this. This is how people are supposed to be acting. They don't want to act within the confounds of their oath obligations and bonds. Then they need to go back to wherever the hell they came from. And that's period point blank where I stand as a Moor with children who haven't seen their mother in a year and a half, as well as with Moors getting violated all over this freaking all over this continent because individuals are mad that they are no longer in power. We took them out of power by being ourselves, declaring our nationality, and enforcing these laws. That's all we have to do. They're just sitting here trying to make people be fearful of going to jail. If you're going to be fearful of going to jail, never do what you need to do to liberate yourself or liberate your children. And if you don't care about yourself, care at least about your children. If you don't care about your children, what the hell you come here for?
Exactly. We have to have as many children as we can. That's what they've been eradicating us. Well, that's a beautiful statement, and I appreciate
Let
you
everybody.
allowing me.
I'm at W Hill Correctional Facility. Let them know that's where I'm at.
Say it again about
And to write.
correctional.
Huh?
Say your correctional facility name again.
It's George W. Hill Correctional Facility in Thornton, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I'm going to put a note.
On the study the Dred Scott case. The whole case, not that little dissertation that everybody wants to quote and don't quote no real stuff about that case. That case is about 100 pages long. You get the real case.
Or so. I read it. 122 pages or so. I read it.
That is long.
It's
tells
long.
you everything you need to know, and it links it to every constitutional violation. Violation in the Constitution. You're not a freaking, not a citizen of this so-called government. You never were. The only way that you were identified in that fucking Constitution is as a as a thing, property, like a pen, a pencil, or a freaking calculator. That's how you are identified in that Constitution, because they can't identify you outside of that, because you have your own freaking government that you should be standing and supporting, which is the Moroccan government. Period, point blank. That is no other issue. The only reason why they want you to call yourself black is so they can hypothecate and cheat all of your stuff.
Exactly.
And if people actually did classes on Dred Scott or the Dungy case, which was a defamation of character case about a Moor being called a black man, but now they want to be black and not be called a Moor. Are you serious? And it's all propaganda because people watch videos like Video Triad. That's why.
Her name is
they don't
Virgo.
go. Video Triad is Virgo Triad. And then you got to have a Virgo, right? So somebody might want to look at her, call herself a Virgo using astrology.
You like that, Faatima?
I'm the same way she is.
But yeah, her name is
on a rant.
But yeah,
what I say? What we laughing at? I want to laugh too.
We laughing at you saying you calling her Video Triad.
I've been calling her Video Triad since the beginning. I don't have access to the intranet where I can go research anything.
I know that's right.
I gotta go based on what people say, and the phones don't always be clear. So I've been calling her Video Triad the whole damn time. Virgo Triad. You ain't no Virgo.
Right. So what I want to do is put a notice of appearance in my class.
For Light?
No, for you as well as Light and all other Moors, because we have to put our flag back.
We're doing class action case. Where are you saying it? Where are you doing?
I've been having this case going on for a long time. I've been doing a federal criminal investigation since I got locked up in 2003 to 2012. I got out.
So are you trying to get a consensus of what? Moors to come together to do what?
They have no choice.
To do what? What is this case? Class action.
This class action is to free all of our people and restore the Republican form of government.
They're already free. They don't have to do class action. They just have to follow the law.
That's what I'm doing. In other words, my job is to put the flag back up on top of the White House. That's our Republican form of government flag. People don't know that. They think it's just a flag. Oh, it's a Moorish flag. No, you fool. It's the Republican or Iroquois Confederation flag. It's our flag. And many people just think they don't know where it goes because they haven't seen it on top of the White House or the Empire.
Well, the White House is not our building. You know that's not our building.
No, I'm saying we have to reign again.
If we do anything, we need to put that darn flag in our home and on our properties. If we want to do anything to let the people know who their government is.
We know that already. That's what's happening. I do that. I have my flags.
And we need to come together to the international criminal courts because it's beyond. No. It's beyond federal.
No. Okay. No. We have our own court. Article 21 of the treaty. See, the treaty is a court order.
I know Article 21. I know all of this that you're saying.
All right, but listen.
How are you getting them to enforce that treaty?
That's where I'm going. It's a court order.
Because Light enforced the treaty. I enforced the treaty. We all enforced the treaty. And where are you putting that court order in?
You'll see what's happening. I'm going to put a notice of appearance.
I need to see the paperwork there.
I'm going to put a notice
of appearance for who?
You. And I'm coming
to I got to approve that, don't I?
No.
I absolutely do, don't I?
No. Anybody can join
like the contract, right?
Anybody can join her into your case. Because if they got a case that's similar, if they know law.
But
my case is a treaty case about them human trafficking us. You're human trafficking.
Okay.
My job is to come and get you underneath our law, underneath 21. My name is King Abdul Mumin. You need to see a king.
Okay.
The treaty talks about a king. It doesn't talk about nobody else. If you need help, come talk to your king.
Here's a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back to life, is anybody starting the process of submitting documentation for her?
I'm calling Faatima right now. That's why, as I called Faatima, you called in.
Does she have a team? I thought Light had a team.
I don't hang with Light. I don't know what they have. I don't belong to your group.
Okay.
I don't belong to anything.
Y'all gotta give me latitude because I'm in this facility. I don't have access to things. Exactly. So I just want y'all to know that when we have these conversations, I gotta kind of be exact and to the point, as well as I agree with anything that the Moors are doing, everything that the Moors are doing that's within the bounds of law and is competent. Yeah. Outside of that, I can't mess with Moors because that is why we're in the doo-doo that we're in, because a lot of people go through specific chains of commands or specific lines of communication where all we have to do is really go to the International Criminal Court, if you ask me.
No.
Because the Fed...
We have our own court. The court order is... The treaty is a court order that's self-executable.
I know that.
Okay.
And the United government is supposed to be enforcing that based on Article 6 of the Constitution.
They're not the same government. This is the Illuminati. You're dealing with the Pope and the Queen, the banks. That's who the lawyers and judges work for to bypass our birthrights, which is the treaty, which has us to control our dominions all over the world. But they're sitting in our place.
So are you creating that class action lawsuit as a Moorish consulate?
No, I'm not. I don't belong to any group.
So what are you putting it through? How are you doing it? I'm trying to understand.
Okay. I got a lawsuit right now. I just got this brother out of Florida.
Well, who'd you put it through?
Okay, I went to the Florida court.
Okay, so you went to the state.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It belongs to the Moors. Go ahead. So yeah,
you went to the state of...
Go ahead. I put the notice of appearance in the state of Florida. That's where, and everything I'm doing there, he just got out on the 31st of December. And
based on that court order, based on that class action suit.
What I wrote to them is telling them, all the lawyers are the Illuminati, they're impersonators, they're imposters, they're interlopers, and they're in our spot. And I'm telling them, before you even, they lost the Revolutionary War to us. And the women won the Revolutionary War, the Moroccan women. The Iroquois Articles of Confederation, the Iroquois Constitution, which shows that the Moroccan women ruled the world, is what I'm putting back together. Go ahead.
We got 30 minutes. You can't give me all that in 30 minutes, but you can send this information to Fatima. It's Fatima. You can send this information to Fatima, and you can mail it to me as well in the mail. So if you want to mail me information as it regards to your class, to your food,
I'm coming to get you.
I want you to get me, but I also want to know what you're talking about as well, so we can be on the same page.
Fatima's going to have it. She's your counsel too. So I'm coming to her, and she'll give it to you. Yes. No problem.
So send her all the information that you're speaking about.
I will.
So we can be on the same. Because I talk to Fatima every day.
You won't be blind when I come. You'll know my square.
Yes, Mom. I think I know who you are, but I'm trying to recognize your face by your appellation. So I'm trying.
Yeah. So many Moors.
I've been here for too long.
So many Moors out there. But you're a beautiful Empress, and I need to get your consort out as well. I'm going to get us all out.
He's subject matter. Say this again.
We're not going to leave any of our warriors on the battlefield. We've been moving them on the battlefield too long, and it's over. We're going to put these lawyers and judges in the guillotine. That's what my paper was talking about. Because see, they're committing war crimes. Yeah, they're committing war crimes. Go ahead.
Make sure you get the mailing location for where I'm at from Fatima, so you can mail me some
Fatima,
stuff.
I'll get all of it from it.
Because I want to read it. I'm intrigued.
Yes.
Anything that helps us unify stand up our government and hold all those foreigners here that are here on laws. We got to do what we got to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got to make them do what they're supposed to do. Period. Point blank. They don't own any black, Negro, colored person. They don't own anybody.
It's the lawyers and judges who's in our way. My job is to remove them. Once we see, they use the court rule book. I was telling Fatima, that's the book of Shaitan, the book of the devil. That's the book of Babylon. That's the book of the slave masters. See, if you remember those old videos where they talked about in the black and white movies where they asked these Europeans to be saying, "Hey, Bob, I'm going to the college. I'm going to law school." See, and that's what slave masters.
Just like Queen Bella Harris. Just like Queen Bella Harris, she talked about we lost everything through the Battelle. It wasn't a freaking war on land. It was a war in the courts. That's where we lost it. We allowed them to establish these courts, and they don't have jurisdiction. They don't have lawful authority or subject matter persona. They don't have any of this.
Nothing. They don't have.
And the fact that they're still operating, even though, you know, the corona is changing. It's changing it too slow for me. It's too slow for me. I know why they got the corona out there. I know why it's doing what it's doing. So these things can be broken down with so-called care, I guess, to say the least. So it's a massive restructuring and re-brainwashing of the masses that don't know anything. I understand that. I do get it. So I just don't think I need to sit here while that happens, or any other board that's declared or proclaimed a nationality to be sitting there while that happens.
I'm coming to get you.
Islam, come and get me. I'm ready. I'm ready to go home. I've been ready. Because we got a lot of work to do, and I'm doing a lot of work while I'm in here. You're going to see. The more you're going to see, all the work Fatima's been doing, all the work I've been doing in here on my own behalf. I've already sent about 15 lawful affidavits to the Washington as well as to the media. We've talked to Secretary of State. We've done a lot of work, And in addition to standing up our government, which is the Moorish National Republic Federal Government of Northeastern Mexican Territories and Dominions. That's us.
Your government is the United States of America. That's your government that was hijacked. My job is to put our flag back.
I got you.
And
I got
that.
It has been hijacked.
Okay,
it has been hijacked. But we also have to recognize the masses don't agree with the United States corporate America, and we need to distinguish ourselves as the sovereigns that we have the wholehearted right to do. So we have the right to create our own government, our own Republican form of government. That's what we have. It's a government and it's a state and it's a country. It's all in one. They all say the same thing. Okay? They all say the same thing.
No. I have to take it down. The United States of America is a business that when the Moroccan women defeated the 13 colonies, we turned it into the 13 states. And the 13 states was run by the Moors to do commerce. That's what the treaty is. The treaty is a surrender document. And the document is only I'm just saying it's only for them to do commerce, as you know. And so
I'm in harmony with saying. I'm in harmony. Validate that. How can we validate that?
Well, that's
because articles talks about Africans can't be citizens of the United States.
No. Yes, sir. He's talking about the Iroquois.
Yeah, Iroquois.
But he just said the United States of America.
Yeah, I understand that. Right, but he's talking about the Iroquois Federation and all what they do.
It's owned by the Iroquois, the White House. Everything is owned by the Moors. But you have to.
Of course, we know that. That's why we're sovereign. That's why we can shut them down with a lien. Yes, our lien supersedes everything else. I get that. We own it. Right. But because it has been muddied, we can't even, I don't even feel comfortable saying United States of America. All I say is United States of America Republic. The U is lowercase, a republic. I want you to know that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the corporate America. But at the same time, the corporate contract that we're talking about is so muddied.
Right. I got to clear it up.
Y'all gotta send me this information. You will right now. Y'all gotta information so I could be on the same damn footing where y'all are.
I know you.
What you laughing at?
Cause you. I
hell, y'all know y'all be listening. I have to like do flips around this place, and then it takes me 2, 3, 4 freaking weeks to get information to confirm what the hell you're telling me. pisses me off because I can't sit here, go to the law library today and run down the stuff that Fatima told me yesterday and she told me the day before yesterday. I'm sitting here writing 12, 13-page documents. Hey, and I gotta stop writing them because I got new information. Your information is look. Send me the information. You gotta put it in the mail today.
Fatima has it. I'll break it down to her.
Oh, you sent it to me? No, you sent it. I don't want her to send it. I want you to send it, huh?
No, I'm
to me. I'm talking about to me.
No, I have a serious problem where these lawyers and judges got together to steal my home from me, and I live in an RV, but I don't have electricity and stuff.
I got you. Say no more.
Yeah, so I'm like in jail too, but I'm free.
Yeah, that's how they mess with us because they still have our resources in control of our resources to a degree, and it's not even in control of our resources because they have a whole bunch of
They have the lawyers in our way. They're soldiers. They're warriors.
They have the ignorant people in our way that don't realize they're going to get kicked off the damn mountain because of all the stuff they're doing, and they're ignorant. They don't realize they're getting kicked off the mountain. Because we can't have people who are ignorant and just do what the hell they're told to do, even though it's completely against the law. And we tell them and show them that it's completely against the law, and they just say, "Oh well, he told me to do it." I'm like, all right, but the law says not to do it. So who you going to listen to, the man or the law?
Okay. I have one.
Are you lawless or lawful? Huh?
Come on, y'all.
What happened?
My internet ain't working again.
Oh wow. So anyway,
transmute that energy, huh?
So anyway,
Allie said it's Mom, Sharon.
Alex. Oh, so I said Islam, and thank you for the contributions. I definitely needed it for my commentary. I definitely needed it. So tell her thank you, and I love her. I don't know if she heard me.
She did. She said she loves you as well.
Islam. Fearful warriors. I love them. I mean, fearless warriors. I love them. Keep doing the work.
So what I'm doing is enforcing our Iroquois Constitution because there's only one Constitution. The Constitution.
All right, now tell me which one you're talking about, because the one I have, where it talks about the tribes and things.
Yeah, the clans.
I think it's a primal constitution, and it's not talking about nothing.
Yes, it is. I don't know what you're talking about. It says
which one you talk? I don't know if I have the same one. It's all I'm saying.
Right. Just relax.
Because there might be a different one out there.
Fatima is going to give it to you, and you'll be able to
study it.
Because
what I got don't sound right to me.
Right. Well,
it's messing with my.
You have 1 minute remaining.
The Iroquois Constitution.
Does it have wampums in it? Does it have wampums in it?
No. The Iroquois Constitution lays out that the women are the rulers of the 1 million miles square. So only we can be here. That's what the treaty is talking about. No lawyers and judges can be here. Only the indigenous people can be on this land. So I'm enforcing that.
Fatima, she can hear you. You all loud.
Yeah.
You gotta put your butt on mute. Oh, we only got like 30 seconds anyway. So.
Say what you gotta say.
You don't stop talking like that.
What's that? I can hear you. Well, I don't know what be going on over there with Fatima sitting here having a full-fledged conversation. And I'm about to get hung up on. I'm gonna call y'all tonight. So I'll call when we come out later tonight.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Fati. I love you guys. Keep up the great work. I love the more. Tell them more. Stop being scared, huh? I love y'all. Y'all realize how much.
I love all of you.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Had the ability to really
all right.
move people to speak in a way that
locked up. But yeah, I know what it's like when you only have a pencil and paper and waiting on the phone call. That's your only lifeline to hook up with the people. And you're like, no matter how powerful you are on the outside, when you get in there, you're like nothing. You get through it. And so we have to get her. And I know you've been out. You've got children. And trying to do the paperwork and don't know when it's going to end. I'm here.
I'm trying to keep my head above water.
Exactly. And what's the construct's name again?
Oh, goodness, Tahir.
Tahir, you tell him I said thank you for being there supporting this terrible condition our family's in because on us as well. Because we all headed through to that same goal. of removing these people. And if we don't come together, you see what they're doing with their TV. See, the problem we have is that they have a jump on it. They've been educating all of the people before we got a chance to come out, and they use the media, which is the television and all that stuff, to talk about George Washington being the founders and the framers and all like that. And we come around and we saying we Moors, like you're saying about Virgo Triad and all these people out there that's trying to make us look so bad and keep us back. You know, they got a jump on it, but we have an edge. Our edge is that we know who we are, and we know they can't live here. We know they can't have a job here. We know these things.
They can't have nothing here. They can't have property here. They can't have nothing.
Nothing. That's what I'm talking about, and this is what my paperwork is discussing about when I wrote this supervisor for this prosecuting attorney's office, but it's public defender, rather, supervisor. Man, I let them know. I said, when y'all lost the Revolutionary War, the flag, see, when I write my documents, I just put the Moroccan flag above me. I said, well, the flag you see up on the top of my notice of appearance is the flag your ancestors saw when they lost the Revolutionary War to my people. And you surrender, and you will surrender again. That's what I told them. And I was letting them know they don't have no right to, as a bar member, to use the United States of America's name. Only indigenous people can use it. And so they're locked up. Man, I got them so shook. They're stuck. They can't put out no paperwork. See, they can't put paperwork out on Noble.
And that's the thing. That's what they can't do it on yesterday either. But they got this Virgo Triad woman doing all this extra stuff.
Right.
So they're going to try and save face, like I told her before. They're trying to save face.
Right.
Because they've been put out there about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And in other cases, what they're not doing.
Right. Well, go ahead. Yeah, I know Sharon's one to cite case law and stuff like that. And when you cite case law, when you cite case law, statutes and codes and stuff like that, you bring in confusion. You can only cite the law, treaty law, Iroquois stuff, that's it. You know, and then if you start citing case law, then now all of a sudden you allow the lawyers to start talking. They don't have lawyers and judges.
They're not even talking. That's the whole thing. They still, with Yeshua's case, and I know that I put in a lot of jurisdictional stuff from all the treaties and things that I have found. And long story short, they stuck on status hearing.
They said on what?
They're stuck on one area, status.
Okay. Well, you need to
have not proceeded.
You can hold a hearing anywhere, a court hearing. All right. So we need to give these judges and lawyers notice that we're going to have this case heard by the Moors, or the indigenous people of this land, and have them, because they have to bring Sharon. But I'm getting everybody out, like Move is there, right?
I think with regard
I'm not too sure if they're in the same facility that she's in.
No, in the same state.
Philadelphia has, the same state. Yeah, they're in a lot. They have Valera there in that state. They haven't transferred somewhere.
I got you, but here's my point. My case affects all courts because I'm over all courts. Because I am.
Okay.
And when I shoot you this information, it's kind of raggedy, this letter. I should have proofread it, but I got my point out, and it was late and stuff. But I have no excuses because I know better. But I'm going to show you my notice of appearance I gave the brother, and we just drafted another one because he had 2 more people he needs to get out with Moors inside, and so like I said, he's putting this notice of appearance in today, and I'll have mine in, and I'd like for you to do one like that. Because I like to see it, and then I'm gonna put mine in with Sharon as well as with Light. because they don't have having light in there. Even though she might have a failure to appear or whatever, we know it's just all made up stuff. But it's real as long as they got you locked up. We have to, but we're gonna have to make it not real and charge them for having her locked up for work.
Right.
And that's all we're talking about.
My thing is, yeah, because per minute is what I came up with Noble Drew Ali. So they had Yeshurun in there for a year and a half, actually. Right. September 15th will be 2 years.
Right, okay.
Bring it here, Sonny.
Ridiculous.
So,
crap. Go ahead.
Over bull.
Continue with
and to make it so bad, this is between me and you. The trespassing case that they got on her is all bogus.
Every case
is between them. It's bogus. All is bogus, but that one's really bogus because Yeshurun was never out of the car.
First of all,
it was me that was out of the car taking pictures of the house.
Law enforcement agencies.
You understand what I'm saying?
They put a hit out on it. Anybody get it. They don't care who they get. They just get attacked. But they want to get Sharon because you know who her status of teacher, Empress.
Yep.
And they got the clout.
Yeah, she's like I was reading. Bring me that Bible in there, the black book off the table. I'm gonna read you something because you know I use all these things as study guides.
Let me show you that from the Pope. Then put the Bible here to destroy it, to make us passive. And
oh yeah.
Okay.
But while making us passive,
hold your thought. But how I operate is from the thought of
the Birmingham Police
we operate from the women.
What about the FBI?
And
that's how I
do anything? I don't use the Bible because our women were first.
I was told by the FBI.
I worship the women.
Said, well, who the hell are we going
That's what I do.
Right.
When you start talking about the Bible, then you're outside of the law to me. Because our people
not an enforcement agency.
are not the Bible.
Gather information.
And although it's
that's why you're using the study guide.
Yeah, I got you. But here's what I'm saying. Still talking. That's what I'm saying. Hold your point.
From when to when?
I just go back from the time before there was Bible, before there was a Holy Quran. That's where my square comes from. So when you interject things that I know was put here by the Pope and the Illuminati and stuff, not saying that they don't have that stuff there. It's just like going to school. It's a monopoly. They got to have you under control all the time. The treaty allows you're supposed to be rich, supposed to be controlling the commerce. But we're not. They put you in school for 12 years just to get a job all the time. You were born rich. And that's the same thing with the Europeans. But what I'm saying about the Bible, not saying you don't have great things to say, but when I'm speaking, I speak from the point of view of from the womb, from the woman, and what the ancestors.
That's what I'm about to speak from.
Go ahead.
That's what I'm about to speak from. That's exactly where I'm about to speak from. It says, my son, hear the instructions of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother.
Okay.
So that's one point. And then there's another one. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open square. So if we're standing on our square as women, nobody should fall below us. You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
We're trying to raise everybody up to where we are as women. It says how long, I'm skipping now, it says how long she cries out to the square. How long you simple ones will love simplicity. So it's just telling me right there that she's trying to awaken and bring the fundamentals of being above to the people.
There was a
Okay, now I'm not a Christian. I'm not nothing. You know what I'm saying? But what I find,
you are the supreme being.
exactly
What I'm explaining to you.
Yes, I know that. And with knowing that, sometimes, like I told my consort, sometimes you gotta go down deep and bring somebody back from the depths that they're in by saying to them what was just said in that book. How long are you going to love simplicity?
Right.
Because you are God.
Right.
You were made in the image and after the likeness of God. So how the hell can you love what the white man is saying to you?
That's what I'm saying about that Bible. See, they put things in the Bible, and then all the time it has nothing to do with what's on the screen.
Nothing. But you gotta, like I said, you have to be willing to think outside that box,
And most
so that you can get to the point of exactly. They want to be told something.
Yeah.
They don't go and do things on their own.
Yeah.
They want to be handheld.
So
I got time for leave that alone.
Yeah, I wanted to speak about Sharon being frustrated, wanting to be in the mix and can't get there. And I'm going to shoot you the paperwork, but I want to show you a video, send you a video from my new YouTube channel where I'm talking about the women ruling the world, our Moroccan women. And the way I'm going to give you the understanding is that what I'm talking about is that when I shoot the video to you, you'll be able to see like the Iroquois Constitution is basically saying, when it gets to this, like you're talking about the tribe, and if you've seen the part about how it, the very first, like you said, you didn't see this Iroquois Constitution, it sounds different, right? Right. What I'm saying, okay, but you know about the law of the Great Two. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what it's based on. In that first paragraph, it talks about the Conawita who wrote the Constitution. Huh?
I'm talking to my granddaughter. She's irking my soul right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so when the Conawita wrote the Constitution, the first paragraph at the last sentence, the last part of the paragraph, it talks about us having hunters and warriors, 1 million square miles, or 1 million miles square. And when you look at the other part where it talks about the clan, and it talks about how the women have the ownership of the land, but the mother, and we do have a mother. Her name is she's Moorish American, Secret Peace and Friendship Mother, and anyway, we have to go in this order of structure from who rule. So the women rule over 1 million miles square. From coast to coast is 3,000 miles. North Pole to South Pole, I don't know. It still doesn't equate to 1 million miles square. This is Turtle Island. You own all the islands and everything on the outside. So when you get up into, when the lawyers are talking about, hey, I'm representing the state of Pennsylvania. Oh, really? The state belongs to the Moors. Who are you? Well, I'm a lawyer from where? You're not indigenous to this land. You 1 million miles square. Only indigenous people can live here. That's what the treaty is talking about. But it's not. Most people don't combine the treaty with the Iroquois Constitution because most people, they have their own views. They got the Constitution already in the state. And then when you go tell them about the Iroquois one, like, what you talking about? Yeah, well, Iroquois Articles of Confederation, Iroquois Constitution, Iroquois Moorish American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. That's what time it is. Those documents are for the women who rule the world. Period. So when you go looking at the clans, it talks about how the women can hire and fire the chiefs. Period. So when you have that kind of power to tell the men what to do, who rules? You rule over 1 million miles square, and the treaty is left here for us to protect our dominions all over the world. But the lawyers and the judges jump in the middle of it and use that court rule book and these fake courts like you were talking about. They don't have a court, but people still are asleep. The Moors are asleep because we got to come together and have a hearing according to Iroquois documents we just talked about. And if we don't do that, they're going to be using the court rule books in their court. These fake courts that are the Illuminati, the Pope gang. See? So you know much about the secret treaty of Verona?
Yes, I have that.
Okay. So you, okay, so you see how Article 14 of the treaty talks about commerce, right? And then, and when you look at Article, and then when you look at the secret treaty of Verona, you see where it talks about France getting paid that stipend of 20 million francs, and Article 4 of the Article 4 of the secret treaty of Verona, where they pay France 20 million francs to defeat Moorish Spain, right? So until the end of the war. So as you see, the commerce in Article 14 of the treaties talks about the commerce has to be on the same footing as Moorish Spain. They might not say it there, but the same footing as Spain. So when you see what they did, they've been at war with us. Wherever we go, they go and attack the spots where we need is our support. So my job is to bring, I'm prosecuting the Pope, the Queen, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and all of them. And my job is to expunge all of the presidents that's on there, because only nobles can be president on this land. They can't live here or have a job here. George Washington took the bag from everybody and enslaved the Moors and the Europeans. And that's what created that monopoly to where all the money comes to them. And everybody else who's supposed to have the control and stuff, they stole it. And now they got you going to school talking about look at this and look at that. They told you to go left instead of right. But all we need to do is come together and enforce Article 14 of the treaty. Period. If the Europeans ain't making no money here, then they got to go. And they got to go and enforce that part too, because they're all poor. So they believe in that KKK history that they had, where they beat us up and killed us and lynched us, and where they could push us around today. But this day is over. All that old stuff that they be living off of, their ancestors are dying off. They look old and bad, and so on. And all they talk about is what they did in history, as the Pope and the Queen men have their longevity over the people that supposed to be having no longevity. That's us. So they're sitting on our empire and using us as pawns against ourselves and so on. We can't attend these schools. Europeans can't attend these schools. We have to now go and get our money. Feel like you've seen the Europeans go on January 6th to attack the Capitol? They should go back with us this time and demand that money. Because I'm coming to get the money and as well as to take our power back from the women. See, the women, the Pope took the power from the women. And they're using the women's power of the noble to rule over the world. That's what the secret treaty of Verona is talking about. Yeah, so they took your power. Now the United States of America's government, which belongs to the women or the Moors, now the lawyers are saying, I'm here to represent the state of Pennsylvania, and, well, hold up, are you a Moor? No? Well, what you doing? You better get up out of here, fool. Deport time. Guillotine time. This is war crimes in your face. But because the Moors are like, they don't know.
Because you can't even stand. Huh? You can't even stand on this shit.
I couldn't hear you.
What is the nationality?
You're talking about the U.S. citizens, they ain't got no stand.
No, it can't be here. You know that.
Citizenship, and they became more subject.
That's what they came. And it says that right in the daggone French and Moroccan treaty.
Right.
1950, huh?
Yeah.
It also said the Congress in 1904 wrote that letter to the Secretary of State back then. He said whatever foreign national or used to be that naturalized from to a foreign nation and as a U.S. citizen, they lost their nationality and became more subject.
Right.
And they owe several shillings.
They lost the Revolutionary War to you.
Yep.
They've been lying to everybody, so I'm suing them about that. I'm suing them about them saying George Washington's the first president. I'm suing them where they're talking about the framers and all like that. I'm suing them for everything after 1787. Even though we live in 2021, we have to live like the treaty says from 1787. But we're not. Yeah.
We have never shot, we've never
burned
a church, we've never beaten people.
I can't hear you. You sound muffled.
That is the question.
We need to have a meeting. We need to convene and have a formal meeting. So we all can move on the same page. One mind, one voice, one motion.
That's what my case is about. I'm close.
That right there is imperative before we do anything.
Yeah.
So we can have a meeting of the mind and move as one mind, one voice, one motion.
Well, here's how it goes. They have to know their square. Most Moors don't know their square, because if they know their square, it would be no European on this land, 1 million miles square.
Right.
But they don't know.
Right.
They don't know their square.
No democracy that ever formed. If we were on our square incompetent.
Yeah.
On natural law, number one. That's number one, natural law.
Right. God.
Then it's private law and treaty law.
Right.
What you doing with trust?
My main thing is this, brother. Article 14 of the treaty is to be enforced by all Moors, all so-called black people. They have to have this, the women have to have this knowledge of the Iroquois Confederation. They have to have all this knowledge for the baby or the babies that they have, to have them so they can know what they rule over and to watch out. So we're going to get a chance to go over this Iroquois Constitution and the treaty and other things, okay? So that way we can be on the same page and have Sharon be on the same page. Because I definitely have to have this laid out in a particular manner so she can see it in a vivid picture. See, one thing I love about the Moors, they know who they are. We just all beat up, but we all coming. But we know we can't leave this legacy like it is to our children. Can't let them have what we got as a butt whipping. And so that's all I'm doing, is making sure our ancestors' legacy lives on like they told us to do. But George Washington hit our treaty, hit the Iroquois Constitution, the Iroquois Article, and they just totally dismantled the Continental Congress and just stepped in our place. We have to put it back. That's what we have to do. Go ahead.
That's why our tree is out front. We have the Continental flag.
Yeah.
With all its glory swinging in the air.
Yeah. Beautiful.
They know.
But we gotta have our flag back up on the top of the White House, the cherry tree. It's coming. Okay? That's all we have to do is it'll come back. I'm gonna shoot you this video of my channel real quick. I'm gonna get off this phone. I got some work to do. I haven't eaten, and I'm gonna get together and I'm gonna shoot you. Shoot me your email. I think I know I got your email, but shoot it to me again so I can send you this my notice of appearance. My first one is the one I'm getting ready to shoot in today.
Okay.
And it's
fine. Sure will.
All right. It's long.
It's long.
It's long.
Peace and love.
County and city prisons and jail.
Tahir, I love you.
All black people were brought to trial to be tried by a jury of their peer group. Our people from their black communities as defined by the Constitution of the United States. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace.
I think because the Panthers captured the imagination and the energy of young black people in the cities, I think that they represented a real possibility or potential for community control. I think that the government had, you know, we saw the riots that occurred after Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, and I think this government saw that within its own population there was a potential for a real rebellion. And I think the fact that the Panthers, the idea that the Panthers might lead such a rebellion and was a real threat, particularly when the United States was trying to wage a war in Vietnam and trying to use black soldiers, by and large, to wage the war.
They wanted to dismiss us as being a street gang. Well, we certainly were not a street gang. The threat was that we were a group of young people who were committed to organize into a political power base the poor and oppressed people throughout this country.
When you live in a class society, the upper classes, they're in constant fear of what they call the lower classes.
The Panthers wanted to explode the myth of the docile black who would turn the other cheek and say, no, we won't turn the other cheek. As a matter of fact, if you try to shoot me, I'm going to shoot back, and if you got your gun, I got mine, and so therefore, if you wanted to aggress upon me, then whereas I'm not a natural and an aggressor, that I would defend myself to the hilt, and that's what we were attempting to do.
Well, actually, the Black Panther Party in total was very American phenomenon. It was very similar analytically to the Minutemen, historically, a group of local citizens who rose up to defend their community against aggression, which is what the Black Panther Party conceived itself as, defending the community that blacks lived in from aggression from police forces who were hostile.
We said move to a higher level. We're moving to a level whereby the people are going to take over control of their destiny. They're going to take over control of their community. And the first way of doing this is dealing with the most integral part of the fascist three-way oppression. We said demagogic lying politicians and avaricious greedy businessmen, and we say fascist pig cops. But the one that's most evident, the one that's closest, the one that's more clear, the one that's more defined in the black community is those fascist pig cops. So what we are saying is, if the people can deal with these fools, then we would have taken a revolutionary step. A revolutionary leap, I should say. So that's the program that we think is going to move things to a high level. It's going to raise some contradictions. It's going to cause some antagonistic contradictions. We're prepared to deal with them, and we think the people are prepared to deal with them.
We constantly and at all times criticized and condemned racism. We always worked with other organizations. We never used color as the basis of our criticism. We talked about power to the people. And that was very fundamental. That is what essentially democracy is supposed to be about. But the media wanted to portray the Black Panther Party as something that white people would be afraid of. Therefore, it portrayed it as a all-black organization that hated white people and wanted to use violence against white people. But once you have that idea of an organization, then anything they say is bad. And anything that can be done to them is okay.
Well, you see, the media has played its traditional role. The white-owned, white-controlled media has played its traditional role back then and today. And their traditional role is to maintain the status quo. Status quo meaning white folks on top, black people on the bottom. So the media did the interpreting of what was going on. And they interpreted everything in the light of how it would impact upon the maintenance of the status quo. Still do it.
So you can see that there is a correlation between the type of illegal and subversive COINTELPRO actions that the FBI wanted to mount against the party and the image that was created in the media of the party. It's okay to do these things to a group of bad guys.
The slave master never liked the slave to get in a defensive position. He's called an uppity nigger and he's lynched. But when you begin to study ways in which to thwart this genocide, these genocidal wars, and come up with ideas, logical ideas, ideas that will work, then you become the greatest threat to the internal security of the United States. And if that organization is the greatest threat, then this militant military apparatus is up for grabs. It's fair game. All is fair in war and love and war. So you get a COINTELPRO, a completely illegitimate thing, and it's thrown at you, and you say, well, you can't cry. You know this is a war.
And that program was intended to be run secretly. It was intended to be run as a counterintelligence program would be run against, say, Soviet spies, that you spread false information about and among the black group so that they would shoot each other.
Well, in California, there was a rivalry between the Black Panthers and a group called U.S. United Slaves. And documents now show that that materials were sent and information given to the United Slaves in an effort to get them to make an attack on the Panthers. And in fact, there was an attack made and 2 Panthers were killed.
The FBI would get hotel stationery, type a letter saying that Connie had met with Huey and David, and they were really hostile toward Eldridge, and he should be very careful about how he deals with them. And it would be, the signature would be C. Then Connie would get back to Algiers and tell us about her meeting. We already had this letter. And then she'd say, but I didn't send you that letter. So then we'd say, oh, she's lying.
In one situation, the FBI used a fugitive named George Sams, and they chased him across the country. And they would raid each Panther office just as he left, but they would use his supposed presence there as an excuse.
So the government made it very crucial to their success that it looked as if these things just happened by accident. There was no connection between the plan of the FBI and the fact that so many Panthers were arrested, so many of them went to trial, so many of them marriages broke up, so many terrible things happened. However, when these things are happening to you, you know it's not an accident. You know it's not random. We knew at the time there was a conspiracy. We knew it was planned. We knew it was coordinated. We just had no idea how sophisticated the plan or how sophisticated the coordination was and or the collaboration between the various agencies. We didn't know it was called COINTELPRO, that involved the Department of Defense, it involved the White House, it involved the CIA and the FBI in coordination. We didn't know all that, but we knew they were doing these things against us. They were doing them deliberately, and we knew that they were wrong.
They were able to put a cover on the movement as best as they saw fit through COINTELPRO, and the best way was to keep it quiet. Even today, don't talk about it, because it still exists.
And what happened, it just went like this. No political, no politics. Next thing I know, I'm convicted of murder.
They knew that they had this unsolved murder, and what we were told was that if in fact Pratt was not convicted in the shootout trial, which in fact he wasn't, then they had to come up with something else. They weren't going to let him out of jail.
And like I said, I hadn't thought much of it because I was charged with the Tate LeBlanc murders before Charles Manson was charged with it. You know, because they had off the pig on the wall in blood. They picked me up for that before they even suspected Charles Manson. That'll give you an idea of how often I would be picked up and detained.
At the time the tennis court murder occurred, I remember that Pratt came into the Bay Area, that he and Bobby Seale, David Hilliard came over to the place I was staying in San Francisco. We met one evening. The next day and the next 2 days there were meetings at David Hilliard's house in Oakland, and he was there all the time.
No matter what he did in 1968 or 69 as a Black Panther, he was arrested and charged with a murder. He went to trial, and he didn't know the following things. Neither he nor the defense attorney knew that the FBI was communicating daily with the LA Police Department to try to get him arrested and convicted of some kind of an offense.
The fact that the government was spying on us meant that they would watch all of us. It's not a matter of only Pratt. They were watching Bobby Seale, they were watching David Hilliard, they were watching me. They would follow us, they knew where we went, they would tap our phone. So that if all of us come to one house and have meetings for 2 days, they're going to know this.
Nobody knew that the chief witness against him was also an FBI informant, threatened by the FBI with a machine gun charge. He was, Butler was out on parole at that time, or on probation. He was alleged to have had a machine gun. The FBI could have locked him up for 5 years if they'd wanted to. So all of the circumstances were set to create a witness against Pratt who would cooperate rather than go to jail himself.
By the time his case came to trial, the party had been divided. So you could say that as a consequence of COINTELPRO insinuations, COINTELPRO actions, COINTELPRO desires, COINTELPRO goals had been accomplished in the sense that the party was split. And Geronimo's trial, Geronimo's destruction, you might say, was a consequence of that kind of activity because he could not, other than me, get anyone to testify where he was.
I had been telling them all along, the lawyers, and speaking in open court, trying to make these assertions, and they were looking at me like I was ego tripping. That would be the thing I would get back a lot. Nigga is ego tripping. You know, FBI didn't have nothing to do, care nothing. And so I would cry. I'm in Folsom Prison in a hole. I'm in a hole here. The communication weren't that good. So I tried the best I could. I wrote different people and to try to expose what I knew, and I knew was FBI involvement.
Pratt didn't know that one of the witnesses had identified somebody else as the murderer a year earlier against him. That didn't come out. He didn't know that the FBI had put informants in his defense camp that were reporting back to the FBI what Pratt and his attorneys were planning and talking about. Clearly, that's a constitutional breach. The FBI, of course, says, well, none of these things really affected his trial. That was just the evidence against him. But the FBI wouldn't release these documents. It took Pratt's attorneys volunteer acting pro bono without fee from 76 until 1979 to drag out of the FBI grudgingly documents that still were heavily censored. You couldn't get certain information because they blacked it out. Finally, when all of the information that could be obtained from the FBI under the Freedom of Information Act was obtained, Pratt goes to the California court and then up to the Court of Appeal and finally to the Supreme Court. And during that process, in 79 and 1980, the FBI said to the state authorities, well, we're telling you all about COINTELPRO and everything we can find, but deliberately kept from the California Attorney General and the court the information that one of their own agents thought Pratt had been framed by the FBI in 1972.
So it's a very political situation, very political, and it should have never been really handled. The courts are not equipped to handle a case of this magnitude. It should have been handled on an international level, you know, and this is where we've been petitioning more and more and more. In fact, I was invited to speak in Geneva representing political prisoners in this country just last month. But there are difficulties with that, you know, that it should be handled on an international, broader level where people can understand, because you're like asking Jesse James to adjudicate what his brother Frank James did. It's not easy.
In spite of the fact that J. Edgar Hoover is no longer with us, we have some J. Edgar Hoover types, and they do what they can to make sure that the opportunity for self-expression is denied.
And the fact of the matter is that in America, like in every other society, that it's prepared to tolerate injustice in order to maintain the social order.
This is American justice.
That's right.
This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. Democracy is hypocrisy. If democracy means freedom, why aren't our people free? If democracy means justice, why don't we have justice? If democracy means equality, why don't we have equality?
Depression